you. Go away. Go find your women wherever you want if you're not satisfied. I don't know what to tell you. If you want a woman who barely even speaks English and just has to suck your dick, go for it.
He flew me out and then left me at the airport after he saw me.
Gotcha, bitch!
Let's say dating in America, what's the first thing you think of?
I think of women wanting man to pay their rent.
Luxury. It's cringe. Americans just make me cringe, I can't lie. I think it's the accent.
Yeah, what's up, babe?
Did you know that they're paying women less for doing the same job?
No, actually, the pay gap is actually a myth.
I can't believe I'm dating a misogynist.
No, because it doesn't really take account of all jobs. I mean, there's a lot of jobs that most women do not want to do.
Like what? You seen Wonder Woman?
Plumbing, electrician.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
STEM, science, technology, engineering.
I don't give
No, I'm not starting to them.
It's giving small dick. You just don't care about women's rights. I'm oppressed. Don't protect us anymore. Mercury must be in haterade. Cause you hating on us. I'm sorry, did I hear a trash bag talk? Cause is trash. Garbaggio, basura, como es trash. It's the patriarchy. You must be a Gemini. It's giving Sagittarius. Let me check my crystals.
They have we in like a pack of sardines, and we cannot escape, we cannot come out. Mama, we're trapping at this bomber.
I love how the 4B movement so brutally shatters this certain type of man's fantasy that he could just get his passport and move to some country in the East where women haven't been polluted by like Western ideas. Because if Korean women don't want to have sex with Korean men, the men who famously used skincare and invented K-pop, what chance do you have, Kyle? And now they're trying to talk to us like corrupted Western women and telling us not to get any ideas. And it's like, bro, what do you care what ideas we have? I thought you were leaving.
That's such a weird thing to say to someone. Be softer, be more feminine. How about lick on my nuts? How about suck and lick on my little nuts?
32 passport bros have been found dead in Colombia between January 2023 and October 2023. And that's just in the city of Medellin alone. The number of thefts committed against these foreigners has also increased 200% in the third trimester of 2023. And you know, I don't have a problem with people trying to find love. I do, however, have a problem with men traveling to poorer countries to take advantage of their women.
See the whole thing on TikTok now going around?
What's that?
It's this whole movement this guy started, and he's basically like, you can't date the women in America. You got to be a passport, bro. You got to get a passport. You got to go to fucking Colombia. You got to go to Japan. You got to go to Brazil. Somewhere where women understand the value of a man and still want that family nucleus and still want to be a traditional style woman.
And that's exactly the relationship I'm in.
Back, guys, you cannot have premarital sex in Indonesia. This applies to tourists. And if you guys are like, I would never, ever go to Indonesia, sorry to break it to you, Bali is in Indonesia. But the craziest thing is you can't report someone unless you're related to them.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I just want to put it out there that people always say French people are so rude and they hate Americans. I've never had any issues with French people hating me because I'm American. But last night I went to a bar and I spoke French with this guy and he was like, no, sorry, I don't speak any French. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. And we started speaking in English. I said, where are you from? And he was like, oh, I'm from the Netherlands. And I was like, that's so cool. He said, where are you from? I said, the US. And he got so rude with me. And then I was like, okay, whatever. And he goes, doesn't matter. We're all tourists here anyway. And I was like, no, obviously I live here. I speak the, like, I have a bone to pick.
Passport girls. Are y'all tired of those American men that don't do nothing for you? Go get you one of these foreigners. The one that don't speak any English, the ones that just give you their money and do whatever you want them to do.
Username at your big age is volunteer OBGYN. I know. Us American women are really missing out on the real men.
For those who couldn't read the comment, she responded to on the screen. It says, this is why most men don't want American women.
A 25-year-old woman will not be impressed with you.
This guy got that extremely right, and I know from experience, if you're one of these older men that's trying to date young women because you want to impress them to soothe your own ego, I can promise you right now they are not impressed and you are not admired. When I was younger, like 18, 19, 20, I was casually dating. I saw some men that were older than me. No crazy age gaps, but like enough of an age gap where if we were seriously together, I think people would be like, I just remember having this lingering feeling of like little respect for them. I was just young and having fun, but what are you doing? One guy was like, let me come over to your apartment, let me meet your friends. That gave me the ick because I was like, I'm 19, I live in a shitty college apartment. You're 27. Why do you want to hang out with my friends? Do you want to go to a frat party with us? Don't you have better things to do? I was just making fun of him in the group chat with my friends the whole time. That's another thing. If you're an older guy going out of your way to date younger women, for the sake of just having a hot young thing, I can assure you, you're being made fun of in the group chat. Another guy wanted me to be impressed with his career and being like, I can help you get a job. I was thinking, you're 29. Of course you have a career. I was out at the bars one time and this older guy was trying to talk to me with his friend. Somehow goes out of his way to show his LinkedIn. He was a major executive at a car company, but you're not interesting enough to be having a continued conversation with unless you drop that you are a high up person in your job. Kind of lame. All these experiences took place when I was younger, like in college. When I turned 25, I felt even stronger that it was kind of lame. I know age gap relationships do work for some people, but they need to have a shared bond, goal, interest outside of the guy just dating the girl because she's young. There are plenty of men out there that are trying to date the next hot young thing, boost their ego, and down, she doesn't respect you. There's always the lingering question of why are you not dating someone your own age?
Oh man, that comment says it all. This is why most men don't want American women, and you know what? They're not wrong. Look, it's not that men don't want women in general. It's that they're just over the entitlement, the attitude, and the delusion. You got women out here demanding a high-value guy, thinking they're special and can change him, but then can't handle the reality that these men don't settle down the way they think.
One's for the men who just say they've given up on Western women and are gonna go abroad for a woman. I understand some of your frustrations, but if you're gonna be a passport bro, there are certain downsides. First of all, you have no idea if this woman is using you for a visa or your money. You're not gonna be able to have fun banter with her. She might be more feminine, but she might not feel like your best friend. She might feel more like a maid service. Number two, you're definitely going to run into some cultural differences. Is she going to be willing to give up her family, her friends, her career just to come to the States for you? You guys are also going to run into the issue of where to live. Or are you willing to move there? Passport broing is a cop-out for something that can be easily solved.
Exactly. This is exactly why the passport bro phenomenon is blowing up right now. In America, you've got these below-average or mid-tier women acting like they're runway models, thinking they deserve something way beyond what they bring to the table. It's wild. These women look down on high-value, hard-working men just because they had a weekend fling with some rich guy who flew them out. Like, seriously. Just because you got used by a celebrity for a couple of days doesn't mean you're suddenly on their level. The disrespect is real, and guys are fed up with it. Meanwhile, you've got traditional women in other countries who treat your everyday 9-to-5 guy like he's a king. They actually value what these men bring to the table, and they're not trying to one-up them or constantly challenge their masculinity. Over here, though, it's like no matter how successful or accomplished a guy gets, he's still not good enough because some chick once hung out with a celebrity. The delusion is next level. This is why men are checking out, flying out, and finding real, genuine relationships where they're respected.
Yo. Look at how beautiful she is, Linda. Ela fala inglês também?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Pouquinho. Em português, pouquinho. Como é? Isso, Michel Thomas.
Tudo
que
bem?
Isso?
Não, Michael.
Michael.
Michael Thomas.
Michael, em português, Michel.
Sim.
Em inglês, Michael Thomas.
Que isso?
Do you speak English, Michael Thomas?
Não,
Ou português?
ela fala português.
Português?
Sim.
Então não é Michael.
Estados Unidos.
Estados Unidos?
Sim.
Ele mora nos Estados Unidos?
Sim. Los Angeles.
You live in Los Angeles?
Sim.
The irony is off the charts here. She's describing exactly what Western women do on the regular, but she's probably not even aware of it. Sure, women in traditional countries can take advantage of men too, it's not like they're saints. But the difference is that's the exception over there, not the norm like it is in the States or the UK. In the West, it's almost expected now that women are going to play the game, treat men like disposable options, and constantly look for the next best thing. Meanwhile, in other countries, yeah, a guy might get played by one. But for every dude who gets burned, there are countless others marrying women from these places and living happily ever after. It's like, yeah, you still need to vet anyone you're with, but the odds are so much better abroad.
Here's the thing though, short kings are really nice. They're really sweet. I've had a lot of short king besties that were like the nicest people I've ever met. Like literally would get out and pump my gas before I even stopped like the car. And I'm like, oh, you're so sweet.
But would you date a guy who's 5'7"?
Yeah, I would. As long as I'm not making eye contact with you, like eye to eye,
Okay.
I think you're fine. But if you're like 5'1" and I'm literally looking at you and like I can throw you on the bed, that's a no-go.
What if the guy is 5'1", but he makes $300,000 a year and he's jacked, he's muscular?
No, that's even worse because then he's gonna look like a little like Roblox dude.
Can I talk to the short guys? Listen, short guys in the audience, you are so lucky. If you're 5'6", you're 5'7", you know any woman that's into you really loves you, okay? They're not any of this physical bullshit. They care about you. It's genuine, okay? You're 4'11" though. How are you gonna hate on a 5'7" guy?
Okay, but think about it. 5'7" versus 6'3".
Why does that matter to you? You're 4'11".
It's fun, you know?
Exactly, man. A regular guy can land an attractive foreign woman with half the headache, and here's the kicker, even with the language barrier, those conversations flow better than they ever would with an entitled modern woman from the West. It's wild, but it's true. This right here is the ace up your sleeve, the leverage that modern women need to recognize. They keep pushing for this soft guy era, but the reality is, men don't have to settle for that nonsense anymore. Passport bros are out here winning, and if modern women don't want to end up lonely with their cats, they better start treating men right. Forget whining and dining them, nah. It's time for them to step up and wine and dine you. Drizzle, drizzle.
So Victor Wembanyama had some comments on American women. He said, I can't date them. They're too masculine. Paris women are soft and tender. American women remind me of NBA YoungBoy. Absolutely hilarious. I don't really want to talk about this much because I'm not sure if this is a real quote or not, but overseas players oftentimes don't really like America like we think they would. Like obviously we know about Jokic and how whenever he won the championship last year, he didn't care. He just wanted to get back to his horses in Serbia. And y'all remember this guy, Nikola Mirotic? He was one of the best role players in the league. Then he gets punched in the face by Bobby Portis and is like, yeah, nah, like I'd rather just stay overseas. I like Barcelona better. And he was going to get a fat contract from the Bucks, but he just declined it and said, nah, I'd rather just go to my home country. We know players like Giannis Antetokounmpo spend most of their offseason in Greece, so it just goes to show we need to incorporate European players to the American system a little bit better. Or maybe something wrong with America, I don't know. But this is funny.
Exactly. In a lot of Asian countries, the height thing isn't even a conversation. Guys around 5 are average, and the women are generally shorter and petite. So for guys who aren't towering over 6 feet, they're not treated like they're invisible. Meanwhile, in the States, even if you're a solid 5'A", some of these super short women, who barely break 5 on a good day, are demanding guys to be like 6. It's wild, right? It's like, sis, you want a guy tall enough to dunk on you when he could just pick you up like a toddler? The entitlement from these feminist types is real. They've got height standards that don't even make sense. In Asia, though, much more balanced and reasonable. You're appreciated for who you are, not measured by how high you stand.
If you are students in the Philippines, I wanted to know, like, do Filipino guys really come up to you guys? Like, do Filipino guys try to call you guys?
You mean approach, like want to date?
Yeah, asking you to date you.
Okay, for me, honestly, nope.
No?
No.
I tell my single friends, I'm like, if you want a man, go anywhere outside of here, okay? We could start the Passport Sisters, because I'm telling you, we are adored in other places. Don't believe this BS that they try to sell us in America that we're less than.
But it's like dating in Japan as a Black woman. So let's get right into this video, shall we? I will say, I'm not here to play any games. I'm not here to play with your feelings or sell you a dream. But a lot of Japanese men, the ones who do want to date interracially, go for white women.
I walk her back, I set my alarm, get, showered, take my makeup off, all that stuff, and I was like, Nami in the morning. Like, I was just really excited to go to Nami. So I wake up, I get ready, I text them, ready when you are, ha 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 ha, smiley face, nothing. I got no text, no call, Nothing. So, you know, he's all apologetic the following week and everything, and the first thing he says to me is like, let me make it up to you, you should come over. I'm like, come over why? He's like, oh yeah, just come hang around Suwon. I can show you around Suwon. Hang around my house. I'm like, he thinks I'm...
Despite all the simps, all the panders, all the toxic feminism, and all the equal rights, modern women are still not satisfied. By trying to copy off of the passport bros, what are you ladies actually escaping? In order for the passport sister movement to work effectively, you will have to be 100 times more feminine than those foreign women in those countries, which I highly doubt that can happen. Passport bros.
Stop the cat.
You're absolutely right. It's wild how these women claim they want high-value men, but when they actually get them, they don't change their behavior. Instead of becoming the wives they claim they would be for a man at that level, they stay stuck in their feminist mentality, operating like they've got something to prove. Even top-tier men athletes, millionaires, are fed up with the same attitudes that everyday men are dealing with. These women talk all this mess about passport bros being broke or dusty, yet they go radio silent when rich and successful men echo the exact same complaints about them. And yeah, French women may have some femininity going on, but France is still deep in feminist culture, and let's be real, it's not cheap to live there either. Even men with money know that feminism runs deep, whether it's in the States or France. It speaks volumes when even the wealthiest men are flying out for women who actually appreciate them instead of settling for entitled, combative feminists. It's a global wake-up call for these 304s.
How much money do you need to get started as a passport bro? Let me show you guys some. This is 200,000 dong. It's worth about $8.50, meaning you need to have $42 to be a millionaire in Vietnam. And this is the 100,000 bill in Bali. You need about $67 to be a millionaire here. You don't need to make a lot of money. Look at this, $500 a month Airbnb, $600 a month Airbnb, and that's on Airbnb with those fees. You talk to locals, you get it cheaper. This is electricity, Wi-Fi, water, all of that's included. Short-term rentals are where it's at. Most people have leases and car payments where if they need to downsize or something goes wrong, they are locked in and it can make life a living hell. Where passport bros can live like this on the weekends and live in hostels on the weekdays if we really feel like it. Another misconception, most passport bros have regular jobs, okay? Regular 9-to-5, healthcare, 401k. We're not drop shipping or selling courses or anything like that. We just work from home. Now, some work from home jobs, unfortunately, don't let you work remote abroad, which is dumb because it's not illegal and the tax situation often doesn't change at all. But let's say you find yourself in one of these situations. You can hypothetically use a VPN to mask your IP address, and if you really want 100% guarantee you're not going to get caught, you can use this and set it up at a friend's house.
Exactly.
One final thing, guys. I didn't know
a lot of foreigners are playing the long game when it comes to Western women. They know that a green card and financial stability are on the table, especially when dealing with women who are past their prime and desperate for attention. These modern women think they're still the prize, but in reality, many guys from poorer countries just see them as a quick opportunity either to practice on or secure some financial benefit. It's not about genuine attraction or long-term commitment, it's a transaction. These men know that post-war women will open their wallets wide if it means they can hold on to some semblance of validation. The sad truth is, while these women think they're being desired, it's often just a convenient way for guys to either secure their future or pay the bills with minimal effort. They're playing these women like a business opportunity, and it's working for them because the women can't see past their own delusions.
And I remember this man, he must have been in his 50s or 60s. He said so loudly and so confidently that he does not like women in America. This includes American women and also Nigerian women who live in America. He said so boldly and so confidently that he prefers to get on the plane and go back to Nigeria to be with the women in Nigeria as opposed to being with the ones in America. This includes American women, white American women, black American women, and even Nigerian American women. And his reason is because he said that American women are too wild for him and the ones back in Nigeria are more tame. Now, of course, this is way before I started my podcast, so I didn't really have a platform to share my opinions, and I also didn't want to interject him. A lot of times people of that age, you can't really tell them anything. You know, they're sort of like solidified in their mentality. So try to talk to this kind of person is basically like pouring water on rock. But the interesting thing about this man's mentality is the fact that this is a mentality that a lot of Nigerian men have. Actually, not even just Nigerian men. A lot of African men in general have this mentality. And having lived here in America for so many years, I have had encounters with so many Nigerian men and African men, you know, from other parts of Africa, who always say the exact same thing. They don't like the women in America. They think that there's something wrong with America, or America corrupts women and the women in America are not loyal enough to them. So they prefer to get on the plane and go back to their countries. You know, for the Nigerians that go back to Nigeria and marry a Nigerian woman and then bring the woman over to America. You know, of course, other African countries, they prefer to get on the plane and go back to their countries and marry women from their countries and bring them to America as their spouse. And the true reason behind this, even though a lot of men will probably not admit this, the true reason behind this is patriarchy. Yes, patriarchy is still order of the day everywhere in the world for the most part, even here in the West. But I believe that is way worse in Africa. In Nigeria, for example, a lot of Nigerian men have this arrogance, this arrogance that comes from a foul audacity. There's a sense of arrogance. It's completely egotistic to assert themselves and dominate everyone, especially women, and tell women what to do. You know, a lot of times, even living in Nigeria, I remember witnessing a lot of domestic abuses. You know, of course, in Nigeria, it would not be called domestic abuse because as long as it's the man who's the aggressor,
Absolutely.
it's okay. I remember growing up
These
in
women are
Nigeria, seeing
walking
a lot of
right
men
into the
who were
trap
very
with their
foul
eyes
towards
wide
their wives,
shut.
the way they talk to their
They
wives,
think they're
and
still holding all the
sometimes
cards
they
when
put
in
their hands
reality they're being played by these savvy foreign guys who are more than happy to sell them the fantasy. It's a win-win for these dudes play the game, get the benefits, and maybe even secure a green card while they're at it. Meanwhile, these women convince themselves they're in high demand, but the reality couldn't be further from the truth. It's crazy how the modern dating market has shifted like this, but these post-wall women with their inflated egos refuse to see it. They believe they're in control, but they've become the easiest targets for these foreign men looking to cash in. It's not about love, it's about survival and opportunity. The delusion is real, and unfortunately a lot of these women won't realize it until they're left high and dry. By then it's way too late.
It just broke a guy's heart. Like the nicest guy I've ever met. Like, he would have done anything for me. And I'm just searching for a feeling that might not exist. Like a type of love. It really sucks.
Exactly, man. These videos are a wake-up call for so many guys. You could be the perfect partner, checking every box, and still, it's never enough for these modern women. They'll act like they want stability, loyalty, and a solid
It's
relationship,
videos like
but as
these
soon
that
as the
red pills
itch for
a
another
lot of
hoe
men.
phase
That a man can
hits,
do everything for
they
a
throw
modern
away
woman
good men
and
like yesterday's
still
news,
not be
and you're
enough
spot
for
on
her.
with the manipulation
A
game.
lot of good guys
Those
are thrown
tears,
away like garbage
it's damage
because
control.
these 304s
They
want
flip
to
the
do
narrative to look
another
like the
HOE
victim,
phase,
and some
and were
dudes
never
still fall for
qualified
it,
to be in a
feeling
relationship
guilty
in the
when they
first
did nothing
place.
wrong.
But the
But fast
tears
forward
might
to when
be
the wall
manipulation
hits,
now
menopause
to
kicks
make her
in,
look like a victim
and they realize
to
they
do
threw
damage
away their
control.
last chance
But
at something
soon,
real.
when she
Those
hits
tears
the
will
wall
be genuine.
again and goes
But
through
it'll be too late.
menopause, it will be
By
real
then, most of the
tears,
good guys will
because
either
most
be
of the
living
good
their best
men will
lives
be
abroad as
ignoring her,
passport
or
bros or
becoming
going
a passport bro,
MGTOW,
and
completely
that's
done with
the
the
myth.
games. That's the
It's
brutal
videos
reality,
like these
and
that
these women
red
are going
pills
to
a
regret
lot
it
of men.
hard.
That a man
But
can
hey,
do
that's the
everything for a
path they
modern woman
chose.
and still not be enough for her. A lot of good guys are thrown away like garbage because these 304s want to do another HOE phase and were never qualified to be in a relationship in the first